that simple. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's King of the Mountain. Let's get your best takes. Myron, are you ready for this one?
Ready, man.
All right, we will do it. That's next here on Matt and Myron, counting the kickoff on ESPN Radio.
College basketball on ESPN Radio. The inaugural Dick Vitale Invitational.
Are you serious? Wow, can't believe it.
Texas, number 6 Duke. Coverage begins Tuesday at 8 Eastern with tip-off at 8:45 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Your fantasy roster is set. The Smack Talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Download the app and link your ESPN Bet and ESPN accounts to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe. But it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
At Wheelchairs for Warriors, serving America's heroes is our mission. With your support, we serve veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty across the United States of America, providing them custom-fit, complex rehab mobility solutions to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. Join the mission.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
It's Mahomes versus Allen, Part 10. I'm Chris Smith. When the Chiefs visit the Bills, it will be the 10th meeting between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, including the playoffs. Allen is 4-1 in the regular season, while Mahomes says his 4-0 record against the Bills in the playoffs can be misleading.
All the games come down to like one. I think other than like 2 games that we played against each other, every single game comes down to like one play here or there that someone has to make, if that's offense, defense, whatever it is. And so I think it just comes down to the players making plays in big moments, and that's kind of worked out for us in the playoffs and worked out for them in other times. To me, it's just about the next time. It's about going out there and playing against a great football team and knowing that it's not like we can think that's going to happen again. You get to go out there and play with your best ability.
With a win, the Chiefs would have a 23% chance for the number 1 seed in the AFC, according to ESPN Analytics, while the Bills would have a 24% chance for that top seed in the AFC with a victory. Meanwhile, quarterback Jacoby Brissett will once again get the start for the Cardinals in Monday night's game against the Cowboys, as Kyler Murray, who is missing his 3rd straight game, continues to recover from a foot injury. And we have a pair of games on select ESPN radio outlets. First, Vikings QB J.J. McCarthy will be back under center against the Lions with coverage underway on ESPN Radio. And he gets some good news as tackle Christian Darrisaw, who is listed as questionable with a knee injury, is expected to play. Later, the Raiders host the Jaguars at 4 p.m. East. It's the Jags' first game since two-way star Travis Hunter was placed on the IR with a knee injury. Hunter will miss at least 4 games, and the earliest he could return would be Week 13 at the Tennessee Titans.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Monday, we'll break down NFL Week 9, preview Cowboys-Cardinals on Monday night, and react to the Dodgers-Blue Jays World Series. That's on Monday on The Rich Eisen Show. Disney Plus, ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to the Alabama Football Recap Show with Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton. Smoked by Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew and Steve.
The Vanderbilt Commodores. The Texas Longhorns.
First down and goal, play action. Manning rolls right, looking to throw, still looking. Rolls right, near the boundary, fires for the end zone. Touchdown, Texas. C.J. Baxter. Cedric in the zone, a 6-yard catch for the score.
The Georgia Bulldogs. The Florida Gators.
Under 11 minutes remaining, third quarter. 10-10 our score. Dogs trying to threaten here on the 23. Pump fake, Gunner throws for the end zone. Noah Thomas caught. Touchdown, Georgia. We'll see if it can happen on this play. Third and less than a yard. Everybody in tight to the right except for Humphrey, who's the receiver to the right. Play fake. Gunner going to keep it. No, get in the end zone. He took a knee at the 1. A wide open after the play fake. No one was going to catch it.
The South Carolina Gamecocks. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Waiting, green zone, and fake on the handoff. Chambliss throws right underneath. He's got Daquan Wright. Went against the grain and hit him down the right seam. He takes it in the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
The Tennessee Volunteers. The Oklahoma Sooners.
Kitzelman lined up offset in the backfield, as is Van Dorslev. Play fake, throw across the middle and high for Staley. He reels it in. Did he get a foot down? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Tennessee!
First and 10 from the 25. Pistol formation for the first time. Aguilar has the snap. Gonna throw it. He got hit. Ball's loose. Scooped up. It's R. Mason Thomas on the run. Near sidelines. Fighting off tacklers. Keeps his feet. There goes R. Mason. He's gonna score. There's a flag down as R. Mason pulls up and he's got a touchdown.
Oklahoma shows blitz. Here they come. Aguilar has time. Firing. It's caught by Staley. Stays on his feet. 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5, end zone. Braylon Staley. What a move. What a score. Touchdown, Big Orange.
Helms goes in motion left to right, double tights that way. 2 wides to the right. Mateer's got it. Handoff Robinson cuts left, pushes at the 2. He's to the 1. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. Xavier Robinson onto the checkerboard. And the Sooners are back in front in Rocky Top.
The Arkansas Razorbacks. The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
So here we go again. Second and goal from the 3. Green off play action. Going to dump it short. Jones complete. Touchdown, Arkansas. Rohan Jones at the goal line made the grab, and we're an extra point away from a tie game.
Chapin takes the snap, a 4-man rush, throws right side. Evans makes the grab, breaks a tackle, down the sideline, 10, 5, spins out of a tackle, touchdown, Anthony Evans. The clock starts. Bobby Petrino won't stop it. And a 16-game SEC losing streak comes to an weekend here in Fayetteville. State gets a huge road win. The first conference triumph in the Jeff Levy area as the Bulldogs leave Fayetteville with a 38-35 come from behind victory.
The Kentucky Wildcats. The Auburn Tigers.
Kentucky can take its time to snap this one. It'll be close to the 3-minute mark if they choose to.
Yeah, I thought they may just try to huddle, but they're already underneath the center. That's a long time for the offensive line to sit in that stance.
Well, Foley right now near the center.
They're probably just going to take a timeout. They'll take it all the way down and end up taking a timeout because I don't think they got a play call in.
He gets under the center, brings a man in motion. Foley turns. He rolls. He's in some trouble. He throws. That may have been deflected. And it's picked off. Picked off by New Boy Fagans. He's back to near the 50-yard line, on his feet to the 49. Ball is loose.
And he fumbled.
Ball is loose. Kentucky says it has it.
Oh, my goodness. Get the interception. Just got to hold on.
We wait for the call.
By Auburn. During return, fumbled the ball. The ball was recovered by Kentucky. The Kentucky's ball, first down and 10.
A pleasant, good Sunday morning to you. Hope everybody enjoyed that extra hour of rest as we welcome you in. Hey, there you go. As you can see on WZZN TV, Drew is already ready for the holiday season with the Christmas trees.
Well, Hugh probably is too, but for another reason. He's probably going to get a present later today.
If I had to do a 30 for 30 on this year's Auburn season, it would be that play right there.
Totally.
Interception fumble.
Well, and I'd have to also just tell you what a terrible football game that was. I mean,
there were two awful games yesterday.
Why the hell Kentucky was throwing the ball?
Oh my
they made two bonehead calls, and that was one of them because, again, Auburn, their offense is terrible. So why are you even throwing the football at that point in time? And then later in the game, they threw a pass trying to, hold on to the ball before the 2-minute warning and basically run the clock out if he'd hit the throw. But it was a low percentage timing route. I'm not stopping the clock at all. If I throw the ball, I'm going to throw like a swing pass or something to make Auburn make a tackle and keep the clock running. But, it was the battle of the inept. Let's just call it what it is.
Put the freshman in a very not a good situation. Not a good situation at all.
And that Kentucky defense, it was cool to watch Khalil Saunders play well. Shout out Grissom Tiger under Chip English, our friend that's now the head coach at Hoover and was recruited by John Summerall. But when he was at Kentucky, but I mean, good grief, it was just a terrible. I was watching it and Oklahoma, Tennessee. I was trying to watch both of them, one on the phone, one on the television, and it was just. The Auburn game was on the TV. It was a terrible football game.
So my setup is I have two TVs stacked on each other.
Yeah.
I tweeted it out. The top television had the World Series.
Yeah.
Then I split the feed that I get from DirecTV. I was doing the Ole Miss South Carolina game.
Yeah.
Man, South Carolina. And then, of course, the Tennessee Oklahoma game, and on my computer in front of me on my laptop was the Auburn game. The Kentucky game.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, it's just
that was tough.
It's amazing to watch Auburn's offense only score 3 points, and really, if their defense hadn't, and that was another thing on Kentucky. They threw a bonehead interception. That was just a freshman making a bad read. But, I mean, my goodness, if they don't throw that interception late in the first half, Auburn never scores.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but people always want to think that the backup quarterback's the answer and all this stuff. And he's not. Hugh Freeze cannot evaluate quarterbacks. I don't even think Deuce Knight's very good. I watched him in high school. Okay. He's got a long way to go. Hugh Freeze, let's just put it this way. his time is done as a Power 4 head coach. He might be able to go to a group of 6 and win some games, but he can't coach with the big boys anymore. It's over. Okay? His time is done because he's never adapted. He's never changed anything. And
on that subject in particular, listen, I know this is the Alabama football recap show, and I just, for those that are just sitting here thinking that all we're going to do is just bash Auburn for the next 49
no, their defense
minutes.
is spectacular.
I
feel sorry for those kids, man.
But really, where I was thinking, honestly, at the end of that Kentucky-Auburn game last night was what big hires has John Cohen done, even at Mississippi State? What big hires has he done? Because everybody's talking about it now. It's something I asked you a couple of weeks ago before the Georgia game. Do you feel like you're coaching for your job? Well, he put all of this on this season. If we go back to media days, I believe the word was expectant. Expectant was the word around this team. Well,
I don't think he takes enough ownership myself. Now, he'll say there's no excuse for us. He'll always say us. And he'll say it's on me maybe for 5 seconds. But, it's a lot of excuses. Like, if we had just won this game earlier in the year, just won that game. You're not winning the games, Coach, because you're inept.
Did you watch the post-game press conference?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you sent it to me. No, you just texted me that you were watching it. And
that was our good friend Ryan Fowler, who loves to watch Auburn in misery. But
so
I did watch it.
I did watch it as well, and he did mention something about, if we'd only won an earlier game, this whole season might be different.
Like if we, would you please stop with the excuses?
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Look, man, it's the head coach. You've tried 2 quarterbacks, and the offense looks the same. They can't move the ball. And then your offensive line is atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of old guys, too.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of guys they went and paid for. Murphy, they paid for him from USC.
Yeah.
Chapin, they played for him, or whatever the hell his name is, 65. They paid, they paid for him from Virginia Tech, and they're awful. You know what I'm saying?
For those of you watching on WZZN TV, I'm going to try to do this as best I can. This list that's right next to, in between Drew and I, that is the list that I grabbed from Sagarin that lists the, at least by statistic, top to bottom of the order of the Southeastern Conference. And we are sneaking up as well on the first college football playoff rankings that come out on Tuesday. And I did want to get into that a little bit. But the list, Drew, is Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri, Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Kentucky is the list, the updated list. It does include yesterday's games as well, but there is that is the list of how they would rank the Southeastern Conference as a whole. And it's hard really to debate. Maybe, Texas played as well as I've seen them play yesterday. And you heard that game right here on 97.7 ESPN. The Zone, 17 points right out of the gate. And Arch looked really good.
Oh, you mean, he done it good. Let's get rid of him. They never going to play in the NFL. They never going to win the Heisman Trophy. He's awful. I mean, I get so sick and tired of these hot takes after 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
These people are stupid. They panic. And that's why ESPN sucks right now. I don't give a damn if we have the call letters because we pay for them, okay? Their analysts stink, and a lot of them around college football stink.
Yeah.
All it's about is let me make a hot take, let me have a podcast, let me say something stupid, because they don't ever give kids time to develop. It's always, well, he stinks, he's not any good.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that Arch was hurt early in the year. I'm not, and you still can't really convince me that he wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's getting better. I'm sure he's gotten healthier, and he's playing football. This is his first full year as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are the same idiots that wanted to say last year after the Georgia game that Jalen Milroe was a top 5 draft pick and could win the Heisman Trophy. Not even close. They evaluate people off 2 games. They're really stupid, most of these national people out here. They are not any good at what they do.
And by the way, I thought Diego played pretty well too. I would say above average.
He threw for 365. They came back from a 24-3 deficit, had a chance to get an onside kick where they could have tied, had a chance to tie the damn game.
You could tell that the defense was playing softer in the fourth quarter. I don't want to say prevent defense because they were using some pressure, but it wasn't the same amount of pressure that they 0-1 there for Texas. Simmons in particular. Wow. I mean, the pressure they put on Diego right out of the gate, it was impressive.
Well, I mean, it's against Vanderbilt. To me, it's always key to play out front and to start fast. And Alabama didn't start as fast as Texas did, but they finally got over the hump early in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what you have to do. You have to force them into turnovers, and then you have to, quote unquote, speed them up.
Yeah.
You got to get them out of their comfort zone. And I think that's what Alabama and Texas did. And I mean, and to Vandy's credit, I still think they're a top 15 team.
I do too. Yeah.
I mean, they've lost 2 games, 2 really close, highly competitive football games. I know Alabama kind of got away from them in the latter part of the fourth quarter, but it was, it was a very hard fought, close football game. And then, they lose to Texas by 3.
Yep.
So I still think they're
that onside kick was, inches.
And I still think they're in the college football playoff conversation.
I do too.
What they have to hope is Alabama keeps winning.
And Texas going into a bye, by the way.
Yeah, and
then they're at Georgia.
And then they need the Longhorns. Now, do I believe the Longhorns are going to go to the playoff? I really don't, because they've got to beat Georgia. They've got to beat Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give them credit for still fighting.
Yeah.
And every game's been coming down to the wire.
That's a big win for Steve yesterday. It was a big win for Sark.
But I don't see them making it. So, because
but they're still in the conversation.
Oh, they're without a doubt. And if they they'll be in it if they win at home against A&M, and if they beat Georgia.
Next up is at Georgia.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another big test. But
what we're seeing, though, and that was a big part of yesterday, is the SEC starting to cannibalize itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also see that the Bush Leagues is truly that, and that they're a one-bid league.
The All-Coast Conference.
Yeah, whatever. I call it the All-Garbage League myself,
Yeah, they had themselves a day yesterday as well. They're in the ACC.
I mean, what did I tell you about Mario? The Canes are going to be the Canes. They're going to choke when it matters most. And Carson Beck, that's all he's ever done is choke in the clutch. And that's what he did yesterday. He just absolutely choked.
Did not watch a whole lot of that game, honestly.
I didn't. I watched the end.
Yeah.
And you probably, I don't know if you saw the horrendous interception he threw in overtime. I mean, just absolutely pathetic. I mean, he had all day to throw, and he made a horrendous read. And I'm sorry, these same idiots had him winning the Heisman Trophy in the first month and being another top 10 draft pick. There's no way on God's green earth that, first of all,
sure enough, he's going to be a top 10 pick.
Well, Heisman candidate, hell no, and hell no he'll be a 3rd round pick if he's lucky. We call that the Milrow. That's what it is. When you're completely overrated, and Milrow was overrated his entire career because people got just enticed with his speed and his size and his arm, but didn't have it. And, and I love Brooks Austin. He always talks about Carson Beck processing so well.
Yeah.
Well, if he was such a great processor all the time, he wouldn't throw the horrendous interceptions that I've seen him throw. And he threw 4 in their loss against Louisville. Okay. He's not that good. He's just not. He's a good player. He is not a great player. He is not a great pro prospect, in my opinion. And neither is Nussmeier at LSU. I never bought the Nussmeier hype, because he's always throwing interceptions, always making stupid decisions. The key is the decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And then last night, I thought it was probably Aguilar's worst game.
He sailed a couple of balls here. I would agree with that.
I didn't think he was horrible.
Yeah,
but he just wasn't sharp. It was kind of like watching Ty against South Carolina.
Okay.
But Ty did avoid the turnovers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but Aguilar did not. And that's the main reason. Look at the total yards. I mean, they had nearly 500 total yards on Oklahoma. The turnovers are what killed Tennessee. Okay. And I still think Tennessee would have won the football game if they hadn't turned it over. But the end of that half was an abomination. The 2 interceptions that they threw and cost them 6 points.
So I earlier I mapped out what I was watching, and I was really watching, like trying to watch 4 things at the same time. And every time I'd glance over to Oklahoma, Tennessee, I would look over and be like, how's Tennessee losing? How in the world is Tennessee losing?
Yeah, they had given up less than 100 yards offense in the first half, and they were still losing 16-10. It's turnovers, Steve.
Yep.
They turned the ball over.
Yep.
Because I had people messaging me, well, Alabama better be ready for Oklahoma. First of all, beat LSU. Quit looking ahead. I don't know why fans do that all the time. Well, we got this in the sack, so let's look for this other one. That's not what happens. And so you can't do that. And so, but I just think overall,
Oklahoma is very good defensively.
They are very good defensively. Their front is going to be an issue. There's no doubt about it. They get a week off, so they'll be able to get healthier going in. And Mateer did look better last night. I still don't think he's got it up here real well. Like he makes decisions that are just, to me, just stupid. But you have to account for him. You have to stop his legs. And Tennessee didn't do a great job of that, throughout the game and especially in the second half. But I just felt like overall the Vols' issue last night was more offense. They just turned the ball over too much.
Yeah.
They weren't able to run the ball on Oklahoma to create balance. And
38 yards for Deshaun Bishop.
Yeah, they shut Bishop down, and that's what OU will try to do to Alabama. But Alabama's not a great running team anyway. But Alabama needs to attack. They need to watch the Ole Miss film.
Mm-hmm.
They need to attack the flats.
Yeah.
And they need to screen Oklahoma a lot, make them make tackles, because I'm not impressed with OU's tackling in the secondary. I think it's bad. And Tennessee was able at times to take advantage of that outside. But like I said, kudos, though, to Oklahoma for finding a way to win. And their kicker, I don't care about his pants. I just know that
you mean the swim trunks?
I mean, whatever. I just know he made 3 50-yard field goals, man.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of the game, being able to execute in special teams. And so
now the only thing that I did text Steve Shaw about is whether or not that's legal. Because I thought
those pants.
that the uniform,
the knee pads and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know
if
I thought it was an equipment issue that would have been addressed. But it wasn't. I mean, kudos to the young man, because, boy, he's got himself a cannon for a leg.
Yeah.
But it surprised me a little bit, honestly. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number. 256-576-4977 if you'd like to hop in. But honestly, with this bye week for Alabama and getting ready for LSU upcoming, and yes, it's well chronicled of the governor getting involved and now the athletic director exiting stage left as well. It does not take away from the amount of talent that this LSU team does have and the possibility that this team could pull together. And
they have that. Look, man, the bottom line is they have enough talent to win.
They do.
But I mean, it's very difficult when you have an interim head coach and your quarterback. He'll be healthier because of the bye, but he's still beat to hell. They still don't have a very good offensive line, in my opinion. They've got freshmen playing offensive tackle.
That's a problem.
And, they do have Aaron Anderson, who's been hurt this year some, but he can play. They've got their receiver group is good. Their tight end room is pretty decent. So they have a couple of young running backs that aren't bad, but overall their offense still isn't great. And I don't think you can transform it in 2 weeks. And I think Alabama, the first thing you got to do, you got to take the run away. You can't let them run the football. You got to put it on Nussmeier, and he's not a mobile guy, and you just got to get after him. You got to be able to win battles up front. You got to blitz some, give him some looks. And then if you're Alabama on offense, yes, Blake Baker's defense is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it. I don't think it's as dominant as we thought, though. And they're banged up. And to me, you just got to have some balance. I still say the litmus test or the watermark is 140, 150 on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, I know Whit Weeks will be back, but you just have to, and you are who you are too. You got to get Isaiah Horton back healthy. You got to get Lottie Brooks, and you got to throw the football. You got to throw to set up the run. And, you know, I think it's going to be a highly competitive game. I don't expect LSU to quit.
Yeah.
But I think Alabama should win it at home. And I haven't seen the spread as far as I didn't check the numbers this morning yet as far as that goes.
I'll look that up here.
Because sometimes they haven't completely set them. What
do you think? I got it in front of me.
I would think that Alabama would be an 8 to 9 point favorite.
11.5.
Okay, I was in the ballpark.
11.5.
So I would probably take Alabama by 10 at this point.
Yeah.
Something like, 37-27, something like, because again, they have enough talent to score.
Mm-hmm.
But now
this does set up pretty well for Alabama here down the stretch.
Well, it does. I mean,
you got Oklahoma at home afterwards, and then even Auburn at Auburn, because when you really look at it big picture, this could not set up any worse for Hugh Freeze because he's still the coach right now.
Right.
Because they are going to Vanderbilt this week, and Vanderbilt coming off of that L in Austin. And that I think they're going to want to make a statement, even against Auburn. So it does not look good from an Auburn perspective. And yes, I know kids can play up and all of that. I wonder.
We got our first bit of breaking news.
Yep.
From Football Scoop, and they will no longer be Shulid.
No.
In South Carolina, Mike has been fired, and this shouldn't shock anybody that's followed his career. He's a below-average offensive coordinator. He was a below-average head coach.
Well, they showed, I think, the ass chewing a couple of times on the broadcast.
That game.
They went out of their way to show what Beamer was yakking in his headset.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt who he was talking to.
Was Shula.
Yeah.
And he's not any good. He's never been any good. He's never been a good coach. I'll be honest with you. I used to say he was a good position coach in the NFL. No, he's not. Because I'll be honest with you, Steve, there's not a lot of coaching that goes on in the NFL. All it is, hey, dog, we're going to get you the ball and we're going to get you your touches. And it's just all it is in these position meetings, in my opinion, is a bunch of ego management and massaging. That's all it is. And when they always talk about the players respecting the coaches, that's only because to be a coach in the NFL, pretty much you have to play in the league so the players will respect you, which is a joke. They ought to respect whoever coaches them. But they're all millionaires. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it turns into. I mean, college football is turning into that. But at least a lot of these guys played college football. You already know that. But I'm just saying, in the NFL, there's not a lot of coaching that goes on. Why do you think they recycle all these clowns over and over and over again? There's not a lot of that goes on. It's mostly, can you find a motivator? To me, like a Bill Parcells, a guy that can earn the players' respect. Belichick for most of his career, I know Shanahan's considered an offensive guru, but Atlanta Falcons fans would beg to differ because he blew a Super Bowl already. But again, I don't think there's a lot of coaching that goes on in the league. I think Mike's been living off his dad's last name for a long time.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite players at Alabama. Thought he was a scrappy, gutty quarterback. But again, the more you learn about it, he's not any good. And Beamer needs to fire him because, look, man, Shane's trying to keep his own job.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't blame him for throwing him off the
24 minutes ago,
ship.
Cole Kublik, a former captain for the Auburn football program, of course, a former employee here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone as well, even if he won't admit it, just tweeted out, "That's all, folks." But he is as plugged in as anybody in the Auburn community, and I would take that as the official announcement that Auburn is indeed moving on from Hugh Freeze. There's no other way to take that than Auburn moving on from Hugh Freeze. I don't know if this is going to hand the keys over to DJ Durkin or somebody else, but Auburn was John Cohen was just, he had to do this. And I know it's unofficial, but I'm taking this now. Cole could be biting me in the butt yet again, but
well, I mean, he did color for the game last
he
night.
He did.
He was there.
Yeah.
He did a good job. He's a lot
but
better than some of the other
as
clowns
plugged
we
in
got.
as anybody.
I mean, I thought he did a good job. He's
he's great. I wish they'd put him up in the booth all the time
instead of Food Network
or something to do with The Bachelor. Anyway,
yeah, both of them suck.
Yeah, Cole. I really like Cole. I like Cole as an analyst in a big way. He knows his stuff, and if Auburn is indeed moving on from Hugh Freeze, which we all are anticipating, it just is what. And you I was honestly surprised that there was a part of me thinking that he wouldn't even have the post-game press conference last night. There was a part of me thinking that John Cohen was going to come out and just say, "Hey guys, we've just decided to move on." I thought it may have happened last night before the post-game press conference.
Well, we usually don't see that kind of stuff happening. I thought it might be when I woke up this morning that the reports would be out there and that he'd be gone. But I mean, anybody that just sees Cole Kubalik and what he posted, that to me, that's what that means. I mean, it's got to mean that they're moving on. And some people thought, well, maybe they'll let him coach in the Vanderbilt game and get through to the bye week. I don't think so. No. I said the whole time that yes, they beat Arkansas. Okay,
they did.
But if they turned around and gave it away and gave it back against Kentucky at home, there's no way he survives.
3 points.
I mean,
3,
and it should have been 0. I mean, they were very lucky. It could have easily been 10-0. It was absolutely horrible. And then he starts Ashton Daniels, and then he goes back to Jackson Arnold. Then he goes back to Ashton Daniels. He can't even really explain it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was asked about it, and he was more or less it was. I
don't know. Give me my buyout. I mean, that's basically what it kind of looked like to me. I mean, he just looked defeated,
throwing stuff up against the wall and see if it'll stick.
Yeah, I mean,
but honestly, there was a piece of me thinking that last drive was going to culminate in a touchdown, and that we were going to get overtime,
and then he'd find a way to escape. And
did you not think it too? I did.
Well, when I saw the ball, when I saw the quarterback get hit and it was picked, I was like, yeah, there it is, because they get the ball at midfield and they can break a play, maybe break maybe an explosive play.
The game did not end on a sack, at least.
Yeah, I mean, but I was just like, well, we'll see. And I mean, and just think about this, Steve. We already talked about it earlier in the show, but I'm just talking about what they've invested in. I talked about Xavier Chaplin earlier in the show. He's a junior from Virginia Tech. They paid him big money to come over. He's been horrible.
Yeah.
Dylan Wade is a senior. He transferred from Tulsa a couple of years ago. He's a serviceable player. He's had to play guard and tackle. He's basically a guard, though. And now they've got Cale Ellis, the freshman, because Connor Liu, who to me is their best offensive lineman, went out with an ACL. That's really hurt them. Jeremiah Wright's been around forever, but he was on a yo-yo, offensive line, defensive line, back and forth.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's not great. I don't think he's an NFL player. And then Mason Murphy's a senior transfer from USC. Quite frankly, he stinks. And so they have not evaluated and spent money wisely on their offensive line. But when I'm giving you all those names, Cale is a 17-year-old freshman. Now Lou was like a redshirt sophomore or whatever.
Yeah.
And so and he is I think he's a future pro.
Yeah.
But all those other guys, sans either center that's in there, they're all either like 5th or 6th year seniors, or like Chaplin, they're a redshirt junior. They've played a lot of football. And so what I'm trying to say is I put it all on the coaching staff at Auburn, because they're not getting enough out of those guys. It's just they shouldn't be that bad, especially at pass protection, and they are absolutely brutal. I mean, it's horrendous, and they've wasted Cam Coleman, they've wasted Singleton, they've wasted Malcolm Simmons.
A lot of money.
I mean, and that's a lot of money. Perry Thompson made a couple plays last night, but they've spent a ton of money on their skill players. And then when you're having to kicked Damari Alston off the team and he was considered a leader and a captain, that's on Freeze. I'm sorry. He can try to throw that kid under the bus. I wouldn't have my kid play for Hugh Freeze. First of all, because I know about his background. And he's nothing but he's a
group of 5 head football coach.
But he's just a fraud. He's a completely fake person, in my opinion. I don't care what he says behind a microphone, and he thumps a Bible and everything, but he's fake. I'm sorry. I know fake people when I see them, and Hugh Freeze is fake. There's no question in my mind. Just like Brian Kelly's fake. And in this era of football, if you can't get kids to believe and you can't get kids to buy into what you're doing, that's why this football looks so bad. Because these kids, I don't care what he says about preparation. That's what Brian Matthews, he asked the last question last night about the offense. Have they prepared like the defense has? Now, Durkin, he's gotten the effort out of his kids. But see, Freeze wants to call the plays. He wants to be the guy in charge. He thinks he's an offensive guru. He and that staff he put together on the offensive side of the ball are awful. They are terrible, and Auburn can't really afford to fire them all because if you fire the entire offensive staff, who's going to call the plays? Who's going to coach? But they definitely, by the end of the regular season, need to be their butts out the door because that's ridiculous. And I just think overall. And now this is on John Cohen. He'll get one chance. He's got to get this right, this football hire, or his ass will be gone in 2 years.
I'm trying to think of the big hires that he has had, and I couldn't really think of it off the top of my head because he was gone by the time that whole Dan Mullen thing.
Yeah.
I cannot think of the top of my head the big hires in his time at Mississippi State. It certainly wasn't football.
Well, I would
because his first year was Dan Mullen's first year at Mississippi State.
You're talking about John Cohen. In other words, he inherited Dan Mullen after Greg Byrne hired him. Is what you're saying?
That is correct.
Well, the only thing he hired Chris Lemonis. Now they had to fire him, but Chris Lemonis won a national championship at Mississippi State, and that's the only one they've ever won in anything. Okay. So, and Steve Robertson will tell you they consider themselves a baseball school.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, they were not happy when he left for Auburn. They wanted Cohen to stay, but Cohen didn't want to stay, and so he went to Auburn. And now the onus is on him. He didn't really hire Hugh Freeze. That was other people that did that. But that's what I mean. He's going to have to, because trust me. Do you honestly think John Cohen wanted to hire Hugh Freeze? He's from Mississippi State. Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze was cheating his ass off at Ole Miss. Everybody at Mississippi State hated Hugh Freeze. They still hate Hugh Freeze. I don't know if anybody in college football likes Hugh Freeze right now. The Auburn fans don't. They want him gone ASAP.
Yeah.
And, I guess the folks at Liberty might pat him on the back, but that's about it. But right now, I don't think they'd take him back. I wouldn't. I just think he needs to take his buyout and,
from a bigger picture standpoint,
get out of town.
Is Lane Kiffin staying at Ole Miss?
I still think he is. I think if they get to the playoff, we just saw Rhett Lashley take his name off the board.
Did we though? I know he's. I don't know if he signed that bigger deal, but I know said it was done.
If he let his agent put out the word about that, and he's top 10 paid in the country.
Yeah.
In the country.
Yeah.
And he just beat Miami, hell no, he's not leaving. Okay? SMU just got the biggest win since they restarted football.
Made the playoff last year.
And they made the playoff. Rhett Lashley's going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And now we know that and they keep rolling.
So if Lane stays, if Rhett, what about John Summerall? If you were John Summerall, where would you go right now? And I am assuming Auburn is an open job right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
LSU, Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, somewhere else.
I would go if I were John, and I think Florida. I know they're still trying to, basically.
What do you think of Strickland?
I Well, I think he's on shaky ground too. If I were John and I wanted to win the fastest, where I would probably go, the SEC is a meat grinder.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to Florida State if I could get the job.
Wow.
Because the league is weak. You're in the middle of a talent pool in Florida. And if they make you the promises that I think Florida State will make, because they just paid Norvell, who's I don't think is going to coach as John. They gave him that huge contract and NIL and things of that nature.
Well, on the flip side, he went undefeated a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so
I mean,
that's what I mean. I would go to Florida State if I were John because of the recruiting base and things of that nature. That's what I would do. The issue though with a lot of these jobs, except for Kentucky, if it comes open,
that's got sentimental value.
It does, and they have a long-time athletic director.
They do.
They have stability at president. See, the problem is, I would say Florida as well, but I think Florida they've had issues with getting a new president in there.
Yeah.
And they've had as you said, they've been people.
That's why I went there.
Just not happy with him, and so your athletic director may be on shaky ground. That's where it's kind of iffy, because to me,
Arkansas.
Same way. Yurichek's. I don't think he's the greatest athletic director.
We saw him chirp earlier this year. I mean,
now Trey Biddy. God bless Trey Biddy. I mean, he's.
I didn't see the walk and talk. Did you?
I mean, yeah, I watched it. I mean, because he is so plugged in, but he also loves the Razorback so much, and that's why he's built what he's built.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to cover these games that are just horrendous. Now, most of his walk and talk was about how bad the officiating was in this particular game because they got
called 18 penalties for almost 200 yards.
I think 15 of them in the second half, something like that. It was just horrendous.
Yeah,
but it's also about he talked about Yurichek having a meeting before the game with some high-level donors and trying to lay out the plan for getting a coach for Arkansas. But I would still say with Arkansas's money, with the Tyson situation,
you got Calipari there.
Yeah, well, and
just on the subject of money,
it
was 18 penalties for 193 yards.
Yeah, but you got some high-level donors over there. Walmart, all that stuff, the Walton family, they should be able to give you NIL, and you've got really good facilities. The entire state of Arkansas is Razorbacks. Okay, you don't have. It's kind of like LSU. You don't have to worry about
no professional sports
having to battle. You even got Jerry Jones on the phone.
Yeah,
if you can get Jerry to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I would almost think that Kentucky and Arkansas. Kentucky's a tougher job, though. It's just harder because now I think their fans are passionate.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's just harder to get players. I would almost put Arkansas ahead of Kentucky, but that's just me. And I just think you have to get them aligned properly.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as getting talent, though, Florida and Florida State to me, and if Florida had a little bit better situation with their AD and their president, it would be more attractive. But if I were John, I would, and then at Auburn, you're going to be having to go head up against Alabama all the time. That's really tough. At Arkansas, and then at Arkansas, if you go 9-3 and nearly make the playoffs, they're gonna put a statue of you up. Or in same way with Kentucky, if you win 8 or 9, they ain't firing you. Okay. So now I know John probably wants to win a national championship, and I can't blame him there.
Yeah.
So that's why I said if you want to win a national title, Florida State, because I think you get better players there. And because I just don't think Lane Kiffin is going to go to Florida in the end. I still think Coach Drink is the best fit there, in my opinion. I think with what he's done at Missouri. And then if Mizzou opens, that's just another, who would they snag? Would John be interested in that one? Because again, I think he would because of the state laws there and Missouri. I mean, in most cases, now they lose kids out to out-of-state schools and other schools, but if you get the right coach there, Gary Pinkel had a long, good run, and Drinks had a good run too. You can get good players. There's no doubt
to me,
about that.
what you've been speaking, when you said it about a year and a half ago about Drink going to Florida, that made the most sense to me. And honestly, if Florida does not go all in on Drinkwitz, I think that's on them, because I just think he is a perfect fit for Florida. But we'll see.
Too. I think he'd be perfect over there. And then, like I said, I know they won 42-7 or whatever over Wake Forest, but I just don't think Norvell. I think they're going to buy him out. And I just think, Florida State. But here's the other issue, though. When Florida State's had success, and even with Coach Bowden, of course, that's the first one where it took place. Then you talk about Jimbo's run where he had some success, and then Norvell, they're all offensive guys.
Yeah.
Are you willing to, hire?
Yeah.
I know one guy they ain't hiring Dion. Lord, did you see how bad they got beat at home?
Yes, I did. I saw the score. I didn't see the game, but I saw the score.
You're talking about letting go of the rope. And I saw a little bit of his press conference afterward. He doesn't have a clue what's going on, man. He's terrible. I mean, I loved him as a player.
Yeah,
but he can't coach a lick.
Well, he needs to recruit at a different level.
Well, he attracted some 5 levels like Julian Lewis. He's got some good players.
Yeah.
They're not well coached.
He played a little bit from what I read yesterday too.
They're not well coached, man. What do you look at his staff? It's so many of former guys that he played against in the NFL, and most of those guys would fail football tests, man.
Just because you're good on the field, the ultimate example I would say is probably Michael Jordan. I mean, probably the best of the best of the best. But as a GM and as an owner, anyway, 256-576-4977. It's the Alabama Football Recap Show, smoked by Dreamland BBQ. I will need to take a break here momentarily, but Brandon has called in. Good morning, Brandon.
And by the way, there's only one of those all-timers that's ever been – well, 2. There's been 2 all-timers.
Larry Bird was okay.
I know. You see, you got.
Yeah, he was executive of the year one year.
He was coach of the year, executive of the year, and he's a Hall of Fame player. You know the other one? He's the logo.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, that's probably the ultimate.
Jerry
example.
West and Larry Joe Bird.
Yep.
But Larry Joe, he couldn't play with LeBron, according to the millennials. LeBron will probably end up in jail for tax evasion. What's up, Brandon?
So some of my Georgia friends yesterday talking about that Florida game, and I tell them, I was like,
that was a catch, by the way. That was a catch.
It was a catch. Come on. How do you blow that?
There's a lot of mystery going on with refereeing in the SEC and college football.
I felt so bad for my good friend Becky Blazer Smith. She was just heartbroken. It was a catch.
It was a catch.
I mean, I don't know if they would have won, but it was a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, how?
I don't know.
How is it not?
But then when Matt Austin came on as the rules analyst saying, well, we don't know where the tip of the ball is.
I'm like,
yes, I'm going to agree with Matt. Matt's 100% correct.
Go ahead, Brandon.
But I was telling him, I was like, Gunnar Stockton cannot lose this game. I was like, his granddad literally fell dead after Florida beat them in 2010 in the parking lot. And I had like 30 people looking at me, and they're like, you made that up. And I said, no, I didn't. You see 30 people pull their phones out and start looking, and they're like, oh, my God, he did. And I'm like, how is it I know more about Georgia football than y'all do?
That was a catch.
Like, you can't.
It was a
I was
catch.
like, you can't lose this game. I was like, they literally killed Grandpa after the game was over. He died when they lost.
And by the way, matchup for matchup, that this road trip to Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State is fully capable of beating Georgia on Saturday. I really do. And I'm not just saying that, for the Munson part of me, but I am saying matchup for matchup. And with the amount of guys that Mississippi State plays defensively and the amount of pressure that they put, I think Mississippi State has a better than a puncher's chance of beating Georgia on Saturday.
I think they may can, but this is the big difference.
Quarterback.
You have got to to put it out of reach for Georgia because they are mentally tough and they are not going to quit.
Well, the biggest
They're
issues for Mississippi State that I see, Brandon, are their penalties. They're
Yes.
bad penalties too for Mississippi State. Like I guess it just feels like every critical time, be it in the Tennessee game or the Florida game, or I mean, you can name it, the Texas game. There was just critical penalties all over the place. They can't do that against Georgia.
Well, speaking of penalties, I don't know if I've ever seen a coach completely lose a team to the point to where they didn't pay any attention to anything he said, other than what I saw with Dabo yesterday. That was criminal.
All I saw was the final score, 46-45, I think.
He laid into him at halftime. Go ahead, Brandon.
And they were just like looking him off and giving him dead stares like, are you talking? It was unbelievable. Like he has completely lost that team. And I said on this show, I think 3 years ago, maybe a little longer, I said, when Brent Venables leaves, you're going to find out what Clemson football is. That entire program was built on his back. And that's what we have found out. He made that defense formidable playing there. And I think Dabo's seen his better days. I don't know if necessarily they're going to fire him this year, but he has definitely seen better days.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, that was another home game too, and Duke just flat couldn't be stopped. I know they talked about. I didn't see it. There was some sort of pass interference call that Dabo was disturbed by. But when you've already cussed out your entire defense basically at halftime in front of the cameras, and they still give up 46 points, and you've got Peter Woods, Tamarian Parker, and all these supposed NFL studs on your defense, and Tom Allen, who's highly respected, there's just something wrong. And
Brandon, we have got to head off to a break. You got anything else for us?
Yes, sir.
Just proud of my Alabama wheelchair girls yesterday laying the smack down. Bailey and them got it done. So roll Tide. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Brandon. Let's take our one and only timeout. Again, a big thank you to Dreamland BBQ, our presenting sponsor, actually smoked by Dreamland BBQ. We'll dive into Week 11, the full schedule next.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
It is the Bama Recap Show. Smoked by Dreamland BBQ. Our coverage of Alabama LSU, well, starts right here, right now. But the Crimson Tide Sports Network will take over the airwaves 3:30 on Saturday. 3:30 on Saturday, another late night for Drew DeArmond coming up here on Saturday. Will has called in. Welcome into the Bama Recap Show, Will. Good morning.
Morning, Will.
Morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing well, sir. Thank you.
That's good. Steve, how you feeling yesterday, man? I'm glad Georgia pulled it through. How you feeling?
It was it had a very familiar feel to it, Will, of this is if this is Georgia football in 2025. Getting it done feels like with mirrors at some point, but getting it done.
I'm gonna tell you this, Steve. That play by Gunnar Stockton, being selfless and just taking the knee when it was like minute 40 left clock.
Yeah.
That's some high football IQ, man. I couldn't believe it.
I'm not a bettor, but I could feel the nation screaming around that too. But
oh yeah, I can't believe it. But as a Bama fan, I'm sitting there rooting for Georgia because in this day and age, it's all about who you beat whoever, you know. I mean, I know Florida's got a good win against Texas, but you know.
Well, I just to me, Will, I was
the whole game.
I was down there for the Georgia Auburn game and spoke to Gunnar after the game, and I mentioned about because he got rocked pretty good in the first quarter, and I mentioned to him about getting hit that hard, and he just smiled at me and was just like, that's football, and I was like, okay, all right. So he, but I mean, I'm sure he was smiling as well because he just scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter and Auburn and beat Auburn. But I mean, you can tell he is just a guy that really enjoys football and he's pretty darn good at it too.
He's scrappy.
Yeah, and, the banter that all these talking heads. I only caught the show. I caught it about 30 minutes ago, and I had to turn my phone off. I was watching it on the stream, but Drew was talking about all these pundits and these talking heads about how Arch Manning has one good game and whoop-de-whoop. And I would say that Gunnar Stockton's up there in the top three. I mean,
QBR-wise, you're spot on. But last I checked, he was number one in QBR.
I would put Marcel Reed at 2 and Ty Simpson at 1 when it comes to SEC quarterbacks. And you know what? We were hyping up Nussmeier and
Lenoris
all season.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here listening to Paul Feinbaum and the dog days of March and
April. We were talking about Austin Simmons in the preseason.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's he at? Hell, they got a damn, I hate for cussing like Drew always says. I wish y'all was on XM radio, but yeah, I mean, now they got D2 quarterbacks sitting there leading Ole Miss,
I can just tell you this. In Atlanta, I can guarantee you if someone had gone up to me and said, who does Trinidad Chambliss play for? I'd been like, who? Who?
Oh,
who?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known who he was. And now it's
I did watch the Ferris State National Championship game.
But I did not. And then I wouldn't. But now it's like, who's Austin Simmons? Who?
Yeah.
They just use him on gadget plays.
Okay, now I'm gonna lead up with this, Drew. Do you think, like I said, I really didn't listen to much of the show this past hour, but do you think Hugh Freeze is out of there?
Yes.
Because now I think Auburn fans.
Cole Kublik tweeted out maybe about 30 minutes ago. That's all, folks.
And then Blaine Crane tweeted out, "It's done."
Okay, so
all right. Well, I think Auburn fans need to apologize to Brian Harsin because at this point, I guess Brian Harsin would have a better record coaching than Hugh Freeze has.
Well, and some of those same people have also were calling Kalen DeBoer Husky Harsin, which wasn't very smart.
Wow.
Was
the Harsin tenure more successful than the Freeze tenure?
It's just
Hugh Freeze there in Oxford. I mean, he beat Bama in 2014 and 15, and I guess they got an Iron Bowl win out of it.
I mean the Auburn tenure, just purely the Auburn tenures.
Yeah.
Which one was better, Harsin or Freeze?
I really think Brian Harsin did him a little bit better. And okay, and this
I would say Freeze because of recruiting. The roster's
That's
a lot
the
better.
only thing you can hang your hat on
much,
is because the bowl game. Gosh, that Music City Bowl, that was awful. I mean,
I'm in a house divided. My mama's an Auburn fan, and my family, we're split right down the middle. Where it's all half Auburn, half Bama fans. I'm a Bama fan.
What's his best
They went
win?
up there to the bowl, and they freeze their ass off, and just to watch them get beat by who was it? I forgot what team they played, but anyways,
you're talking about
you talking about Maryland or what?
Yeah, Maryland. Maryland,
Okay.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Okay.
but
they got beat by Maryland. Yeah.
Anyways, I got one more question, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Drew, what do you think about the ACC now? Do you think
trash?
Because Georgia Tech's
Awful.
they're just trash, ain't they?
They're a one bid league, man. One bid.
Yep.
That's it. Whoever wins the ACC championship game's getting in. The rest of them stink. They have no good wins. I mean, they could try to claim Notre Dame if Notre Dame can run the table, and because they play several ACC teams, but still. And then I'll just say this:
I did get an answer, by the way. Hugh Freeze's best win is Texas A&M last year.
Probably it was 4 overtimes.
Yeah. Ian Vachon.
Yeah, he's now the UNA kicker.
That's right.
He was from Madison Academy, kicked for Bob Godsey, but
he's an athlete.
Yeah. So, but I mean that's probably his best win, I would say. I mean, because even though you could say he beat Mendoza when he was at Cal Berkeley, even though Cal's not any good, that's probably his best road win is winning over at Cal.
Beat Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt in his first year.
Yeah. But that was before Diego got there.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
And Drew, okay, I know I said it was my last question, but I got one more question. Okay, so do you believe in coaching bumps with the interim head coach coaching bumps for LSU next week?
What did you think of Florida yesterday?
Well, I think LSU will play hard like Florida did. I mean, I think it's going to be a tough game. Frank Wilson, those players love Frank. I think he'll get them to play hard. I do think Alabama's the better football team, and I think Alabama needs to win the game up front on the offensive and defensive lines.
Deontay Pierre.
Well, yeah, you could right now that the two best defensive players to me for Alabama are Deontay and Bray Hubbard. I mean, I think they make the most plays. So, but I just think as a team, Alabama has to take advantage of a subpar LSU offensive line, be ready to play, and then certainly LSU's defensive line is not bad, but but Alabama's offensive line, they've got to protect Ty, keep him upright, and give him time to throw. And with those receivers, I mean, I've watched LSU this year. They're susceptible. I think their secondary is okay. I don't think it's great. And I think Alabama can take advantage of it. I do think LSU has enough talent to compete, no question about it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would probably take Alabama about around 37-27, something like that.
Yes, sir. All right, well, you guys take it easy now.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, but but I got to give our esteemed producer who's been on sabbatical, Brody Hogan, a shout out here. Auburn grad. He came to us before the season and said Hugh Freeze would not make it through the season. And we were like, do what? I was like, I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. He'll be back for year 4. He goes, no. He goes, Hugh Freeze will not make it through this season.
How about that?
He will be dismissed.
And he's not even around for his victory lap.
Yeah, well, and
he'll be back on Wednesday.
Yeah, but he also told us who the interim coach would be, Steve. And if it's the special teams coach, he should have put money down on it in Vegas.
Wow.
And Brody might be rich right now because we said, well, who's going to take over? Durkin? He goes, no, it won't be Durkin. He said, it'll be, I believe he told us the special teams coach who's been a head coach before, I believe, on the smaller college
talking about
level.
Rock?
No, it's not Bellatoni. He gave us the name of the special teams, Auburn special teams coach. And I didn't know this, but I think he's been a head coach at a smaller school.
Special teams
for Auburn.
That would be Chad Lunsford.
Yep, that's the guy. He said Chad Lunsford would be the interim head coach for the Auburn Tigers before they go out and make their hire.
Talking about calling your shot, man.
And am I correct? Does he have head coaching experience?
He was an associate head coach at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Where he was a special teams coordinator.
Okay.
And just going through, that's right. He was at Georgia Southern.
As head coach?
Yeah. As wide receivers coach. And I thought he was the head coach at Georgia Southern, too.
Yeah, that's what I was
seem
thinking.
to remember that name at Georgia Southern.
Yep. So, Brody Hogan, you may have called your shot, young man.
Mm.
I mean, you should have done the Wolverine Dan and put like $40 down or something.
Something.
You'd be loaded down.
The very first college football playoff rankings coming out on Tuesday. Chris Lowe tweets out 2 hours ago. Very likely the top 4 teams Tuesday will be Indiana, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Alabama, maybe in that order.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't have any problem with it, and it's meaningless right now anyway in so many ways. And then, of course, Alabama's had their first bit of adversity with the arrest of Dre Kirkpatrick, reckless driving, and all the such.
Mm.
You know, we call that the Georgia. You know, when it has something to do with vehicles, and it sounds like that's
very fair. Yeah.
That has to do with that. So, Dre will very likely not be in uniform, I would think, for the game against LSU.
The look ahead in the schedule for Week 11, it begins with Georgia at Mississippi State. The Dogs are 7.5-point road favorite. Ole Miss plays host to the Citadel in a non-conference game. Texas A&M's at Mizzou. Texas A&M is a 5.5-point road favorite at Mizzou. Both teams coming off buys in that one. Auburn seemingly now, you know what? This would have been, if Hugh Freeze is indeed truly gone, which is being reported by Blake Crane and Cole Kublik, this would have been the 3rd year in a row Hugh would have faced off against Jerry Kill and Diego Pavia. They've been Pavia'd 2 years in a row at New Mexico State and at Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt is a 7.5-point favorite. That is set for a 3:00 kick on the SEC network. Florida visits Kentucky, and right now the Florida Gators are a 3.5-point road favorite at Kentucky, and Alabama will close out Saturday night at Bryant-Denny Stadium as an 11.5-point home favorite over the LSU Tigers without Brian Kelly. So if the reports are indeed true, we are now at 4 schools in the Southeastern Conference looking for head coaches coming up in 2026. Now, keep in mind, I don't know, what is this going to have anything with the recruiting cycle that's just a month and a half away? What is this going to do?
Wreck it. But you have to do it. I mean, you have to get your head coach in place, and maybe he can salvage some of the recruiting.
Yeah.
The high school recruiting and portal. But for the most part, it's going to set you back. But Auburn has no choice in the situation. They're going nowhere. They're in quicksand. I mean, and to be honest with you, Hugh has recruited well up to this point, but that's going to start falling apart too because, look, the results on the field are what they are. And and to be honest, even if you keep Hugh Freeze, some of these I don't think there's any question some of these offensive skill players were going to bail. I mean, why would you stay when the offense has gotten no better in 2 years and he can't figure out the quarterback position? At least now, if you get a new head coach in, some of them might, depending on who the hire is. But I'll just say this, Auburn better have a plan. It better not be, well, this faction likes this guy and this faction likes another, or it's going to get worse. I mean, you know, your program is going to fall fast. And, you know, you better, if you're going to make the move now, and I think Auburn will, they have to, you just have to have a coherent plan and a pecking order and be able to get one of these guys. But, I mean, like I said, man, the last time they failed, they didn't get Lane Kiffin. They put a lot into it. They nearly got him. Didn't happen, but it is what it is. And so then they went and got Hugh Freeze, and a lot of that was based on he was doing well at Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
But he had beaten Nick Saban twice, and Nick Saban had not retired at that point. So you're thinking, well, he knows some of the secret sauce, and so they took a chance on it, and it didn't work. And so we'll see, but it's going to be interesting. But this is a big stretch for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama.
It is
because they need to take advantage of the situation.
November is set up right in front of them.
They have instability at LSU. They're going to have instability at Auburn. Oklahoma is a good team, not a great team. They're a flawed team.
Yeah.
Really good on defense, pedestrian on offense. And then you've got Eastern Illinois. You need to be able to run the table, but you got to concentrate on LSU first and foremost. But you got to work on getting better and running the table and getting to Atlanta. Because if you win these games, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nobody, they're not going to be able to catch you. You're not going to have any conference losses. And then very likely your opponent's going to be Texas A&M. But I mean, some of these hot boards and these moderators, I had somebody send me something last night. It's an Alabama fan. Should we be worried about this? This Penn State moderator said they felt like they could get Mike Elko or Kalen DeBoer.
At Penn State?
Yeah, I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm like, look, Penn State is a really good tradition-rich program, but I got news for you. You have no chance to get either one of those guys. I don't care what your sources are telling you. Get better ones because it's a joke.
I could make a little case for Elko, but not DeBoer.
No, they're not getting either one of them.
I mean,
look, Mike Elko is going to go undefeated at Texas A&M. How much money did they pay a guy like Dirtneck who was past his prime? Okay, and then how much did they pay him to go away? Steve, there's no way none. I guarantee it. That Penn State. I know they got some clown over there that's a co-owner of the Bills. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. They're not getting him away from Texas A&M. Zero chance.
Well, the other name that I was hearing on the hot boards was Clark Lee for all these places, and I wonder if they really know that he is an alum,
and that Vanderbilt's a quirky place,
but that's been his message that he wants to build something as his alma mater.
The thing about Vanderbilt is we all know how much the education means and how many rich alums they have.
Yeah.
They're not called upon all that often, but if they are, they will write big checks and not even flinch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we want to keep this guy?
Well, something tells me his OC may get a bigger job somewhere else.
But the thing is, I don't think Clark Lee's going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's only one guy Penn State needs to hire. He lost another tough one yesterday, but you can't worry about who he's lost to. You have to understand where he's been. They need to hire Matt Campbell at Iowa State.
I thought you were going to say Dabo.
Dabo ain't going anywhere, man. He's just going to finally have to make changes. He's going to have to make some changes to his coaching staff. And maybe not coordinator changes. It's going to be more about probably some position coaches. And then I think he's going to have to change his mentality. And what I mean by that is the way you build your roster. You're going to have to be more aggressive in the portal, and then you're going to have to be more aggressive with NIL. And I know they've got some really good players, so they have good NIL like Peter Woods, Samarian Parker, and those guys.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to be more aggressive because, again, Dabo's in a league where he should be in the top 3 every year. I mean, think about this right now. Virginia is probably the favorite in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the Virginia coach, Steve? Who do you work for? Tony Elliott.
That's right.
Dabo's offensive coordinator.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there you go.
That's right. Yeah.
Or even the Pitt.
I forgot, honestly. I forgot.
And Pitt is at the top of the standings, too. Think about that.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Georgia Tech went down yesterday.
Tech's still near the top of the standings, but what a horrendous loss that was.
So your undefeated teams, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Who else is undefeated? BYU is undefeated, and that's about it.
Yep.
Just in terms of undefeateds. So, wow. Tuesday ought to be interesting just for that first reveal of, one, where we're going to see Notre Dame, and two, where we're going to see Virginia and the standings as well.
Well, now we got another report from Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports.
Is it officially official?
Auburn has canceled staff meetings that were set for this afternoon. Sources tell CBS Sports.
So the first reports we were hearing were from Cole Kublik, as well as Blake Crane, or Jake Crane, excuse me.
No, it was Blaine. It was Blaine.
It was Blaine? It was Blaine?
It was Blaine Crane.
Okay.
I want to give credit where credit is due.
Gotcha. I'm getting my cranes confused. But nonetheless, it's now being reported from Matt Zenitz that Auburn has canceled staff meetings that were set for this afternoon. And so it appears the Hugh Freeze era is done down on the Plains.
Well, and it has to be, because there's just no other course of action. Why delay it a week when they're going to Vanderbilt?
Then they're going to go into a bye week. So a lot of people would assume, hey, let's do it before a bye week. But Pavia is right there in front of you. And the narrative of getting Pavia'd 3 years in a row, I mean, that's real. That's very real.
Going to be interesting, too, because the first thing the new head coach is going to want to do is retain DJ Durkin. And because I'm assuming.
Well, remember, Auburn paid him to stay, or else he would be at Ohio State right now.
Well, and who knows? Is Durkin a candidate? Because I know
should he be a candidate?
Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of Auburn, boosters and influencers that wanted Kevin Steele very much so to be the head coach, and it didn't happen. So we'll have to see. This is a very important hire for Auburn too, because of what Kalen DeBoer has started to do at Alabama.
Yeah.
And that's win.
Yeah.
And
recruit at a very high level.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
It's it does appear as if the fourth vacancy is upon us in the Southeastern Conference, with now Arkansas, LSU, Florida, and Auburn now looking for head football coaches.
You know what? We haven't even said anything much about it the entire show, but I'll just say this.
What do you got for me?
The fan base over there in Knoxville, their patience is running thin with Bobby, a.k.a. Josh Heupel. But I think more of it with Heupel is I just think they believe he needs to adjust some people on his staff. Some of his maybe.
Yeah, well, I heard a little bit on Tone's post-reaction show that give up play call. I just –
that's not going to happen with Heupel, okay? But I don't think he's a great coach. But I think he's
better than I thought he was going to be.
I think he could stand to make some changes on his coaching staff. Maybe get some new blood in there offensively, and to maybe some position coaches to get more out of the. But I think the issue is with what Tony Basilio and those guys were talking about is a lot of them are longtime assistants and friends of his that have been with him forever, where the trust level's high. He hasn't changed too many on the offensive side. And then a lot of them don't like Tim Banks. They feel like the defense has taken a step back. But I will say –
there's a couple of guys playing in the NFL.
Well, they lost a lot of talent
that's
from
what
last
I'm
year.
saying.
James Pierce is one of the biggest ones.
And I get it. Their tackling has been a big issue for Tennessee this year.
But, I'll just say people also have to take into context when Heupel got there – how bad the defense was. It was really, really bad. And so they had to really start from scratch. And so
do I need to utter the words Butch Jones as well? Who do you want? Who do you think Tennessee can get?
But and then I'll be honest, Tennessee's kind of where I thought they would have been.
Yeah, me too.
Even though I'll say Aguilar's been better than I thought he would be.
Yep, I agree.
But I thought going in they were probably an 8-4 team. I was like, I think Tennessee's 8-4. They may go 7-5. And they have some good players. I love the freshman receiver. And he had a big game last night. He was their lead receiver. And I think he's going to be, outstanding. There's no doubt about it. He's got a chance to have a very special career. Braylon Staley, I love him. I mean, I think he did have that last night, that one go through his hands late, which would have given him a chance to.
Yeah.
And by the way, what an onside kick recovery by Oklahoma too.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
If you don't recover that, then Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer, like I texted you last night, John Mateer is not very smart. What in blue hell is he doing? You just need to keep the clock moving. Don't throw the ball, just run it. And he tries to sidearm it into into a very narrow window. It's not like the guy was wide open.
Yeah.
And then, but Heupel said, hold my beer, because on fourth down, you throw to a guy who's got two catches and you hit him in the face.
Oh, my gosh.
You're not throwing to Kitzelman, or somebody, or one of your receivers. I mean, that's the play.
I'd want to throw it to Chris, but I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. But I mean, you have three people, you have three dudes on your wide receiver core that are very dependable, in my opinion. But
let's throw it to somebody who's got two catches. I mean, wow. When I saw that happen, I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
So something else that kind of sticks in my head from yesterday, watching the Georgia-Florida game late, was the late touchdown by 33 on the ground. And I was noticing the angle at which the free safety number 8 took, and it just felt I don't know if Florida let Georgia score, but there was a part of me that went there in my head, and it didn't make any sense to me why they would do that. But it was very well blocked at the front. But on the secondary level, go back and watch that play and take a look at number 8 for Florida, because I mean, we didn't see what we saw against South Carolina and Alabama of, the hands going up, but it did make me think of that play with Alabama and South Carolina. I'm
well, and I'm going to be fascinated to see later this afternoon when Hugh Freeze is giving his bongo drums and his walking papers. The hot board for Auburn, because did they get in the drink sweepstakes? Because I would have thought Rhett Lashlee, but Rhett Lashley's off the boat, and so
I don't think anything's done.
He's off. He's when you're making top 10 national money. It's another
one call to the yellow fella. I mean, come on now.
Trust me, SMU has deep pockets.
I get that. I didn't know. Trust me,
and he's in an easier league, and he knows it. So, and I think if I'm Auburn, maybe they'll go after John Summerall. I don't know, because I know that's Jake Crane's top guy.
Yeah,
and I mean he's an outstanding young coach with ties to the state of Alabama. But with the inner workings of Auburn, does John want to go there?
What about Dillingham?
I think Dillingham would be another name. And I will say this: Auburn does have deeper pockets than Arizona State. I mean, I just don't. I know Arizona State's now in the Big 12, but I wouldn't think that they could punch with Auburn. But it also depends on what kind of relationships Dillingham built with their inner circle there. So who knows? But that's going to be a fascinating search to see who Auburn brings in as their head coach.
If there was one play that could sum up Auburn this year, it is the interception fumble yesterday. Right. It just, you think something good's about to happen, and then you score 3 points against Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think Auburn's a good job. I do. Is it where would you rank Auburn in terms of Arkansas, LSU, Florida, Auburn? How would you rank those jobs that are open right now?
In the SEC, I would rank them LSU, Florida, Auburn, and then
Arkansas. You'd go LSU 1 despite all the no president, no athletic director.
Yep. If you can get it aligned, it's and you're the school in Louisiana.
Is Lane going there?
No.
You sure about that?
Yep. Positive. Lane ain't going. If Lane goes anywhere, it'll be Florida. But I think he's going to stay at Ole Miss. even though there was a small bit of trepidation in the first half yesterday if they were going to.
So I didn't mean to step on your list. You went LSU, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas.
Yep. I really, and Arkansas has money. They have deep pockets.
I do. Yeah.
But, Auburn's won a national championship. Auburn's won SEC championships. Arkansas hasn't done any of that since they joined the SEC.
I know we've gone way over, but it's a different deal when we're talking about a couple of reports that are revealing that Hugh Freeze is done down at Auburn. And so wanted to spend a little bit of time on that, as well as the college football playoff rankings that are coming out on Tuesday as well. Lot to decipher here. And what is a bye week for the Alabama Crimson Tide as they do get healthier. And I imagine we'll hear some more news on Dre Kirkpatrick's situation.
Yeah, we'll hear that from Coach DeBoer. From what I understand, he will address it. That report just came out today. I guess the incident happened last night, I would imagine, for Dre, and he was bonded out within less than an hour, I think at $1,500. And he's had a good year as a special teams guy, played in the secondary, had done his job. And this is the first hiccup of trouble that he's been in since he's been in Alabama. I hate to see it. Certainly he'll have to, pay the price for it, and I'm sure and be punished, and he should be. But again, I think he has a bright future. Hopefully, this will be a learning lesson for him at the University of Alabama. We'll know more about that later. It just means that guys like Bray Hubbard, Keon Sabb, because he was in the rotation, those guys and the Red Morgans of the world. Maybe Ivan Taylor, they're just going to have to step up. These guys are going to have to step up and play some good football for the University of Alabama against a talented LSU team that's going to come in. But I would imagine if you're LSU, you already know you're pretty much out of the playoff. You just cut it loose.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just cut it loose and play. And I'm going to be interested to see how Auburn looks against Vanderbilt. With an interim head coach, and when I'm sure we'll find out later today, but. How are they going to structure this offensive staff? Because especially after year one, when Philip Montgomery was given his walking papers and Nix was brought back in and things of that nature.
Like Ken Austin, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe, but all these guys are Freeze guys.
Yeah.
And they were basically handpicked to be his offensive staff, and they have just been terrible.
Well, on the subject of being terrible, all you've missed is one touchdown that I have in front of me. I follow a few guys covering the Atlanta Falcons as the Patriots lead at 7-0 up there in Foxborough. But we'll join that game in progress as it's getting towards the end of the first quarter. A big thank you to Dreamland BBQ, our presenting sponsor. Each and every week, head over to our website, and you can enjoy $50 of Dreamland BBQ for just $25. 977ESPN.com. Ain't nothing like them nowhere. It's Dreamland BBQ.
And the funny thing is, I think the Heisman race has become a 3-horse one. Julian Sayin continues to put up numbers for Ohio State.
Did you like Nick's little comment yesterday on game day?
Yeah.
What? I'm not going to say exactly what he said.
I know.
But yeah,
but he was only there a week.
I know.
He was just trying to joke around. But,
yeah.
But anyway, I think Mendoza, Sayin, and Ty Simpson. It's basically a 3-horse race. Ty's still got a really good shot because his schedule is tougher, even though it sets up well for Alabama down the stretch. Even though Ohio State still has the boogeyman waiting on them, and that's the Michigan Wolverines.
Alabama's an 11.5-point favorite against the LSU Tigers. Coverage starts Saturday at 3:30 from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We got basketball tomorrow, though. The Crimson Tide will open up tomorrow.
North Dakota. I'll be headed that way.
Will you really?
Yes.
Okay.
I have season credentials, Steve.
Very nice. Very nice. Basketball is here, ladies and gentlemen.
I have to write a preview story today.
There you go. Pregame starts at 6 tomorrow, and Nate Oates. What year is this for Nate? Is this 5? Is this 7? Wow. All right, let's all enjoy some Falcon football. Yay!
Get in. Atlanta's 9 touchdowns and 20 red zone possessions. New England's allowed 12 touchdowns and 17 red zone possessions defensively. Here's London from the left in motion. Penix wants to throw on first and goal. He'll spin it for London, who makes the catch, and an Atlanta touchdown. We got 9-5 in Foxborough.
Boy, good job with the motion to get Drake isolated on Marcus Jones, the nickelback. Remember, Marcus Jones just 5'8", 188, going against the 6'5". Drake London loved the motion that Zach Robinson showed, their little stack formation, and then released Drake to the flat. He's got the little corner on him. He goes up. Penix puts the ball right where he needed to. High points the ball. Drake goes up and makes the grab, and Atlanta's on the board.
5-play drive, 53 yards in 2:55 for the Falcon touchdown. Scoring drive brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Here's Parker Romo now for the point. Kick is away, and it is good. And we are tied. 24 seconds to go, opening period here in Foxborough. Patriots 7, Falcons 7. Now this from your Kia dealers.
Step K4 or K5 isn't just getting behind the wheel of any average sedan. It's stepping into what's next. With a K4, it's stepping into a world that's exciting. With a K5, it's one that's bold. The Kia K4 and